Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
We didn't even change our shirts from the last video. Let's talk about the expansion now. Yeah.
If you haven't watched our thoughts on parks yet, definitely watch that first, because all we're going to talk about is what the expansion adds and how that changes our opinions on the game. So first off, it adds a new section down here, which are campsites, which when you land on a spot that has a tent on it, you can either take the action of that spot, or you can camp and take one of the open campsites down here, or come down here and get one of these cards. But these have, this is just different abilities.
They're more exchangey type things.
I feel like they're stronger, but conditional.
Right. Spend a mountain to get 5 sunshines. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, but you need to have 5 open resource spots because you can only have 12 resources, and you need sunshine.
And have the mountain.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The other thing is that the cards you can draw are new, like, end of game. So in the first game, they had the abilities that were like, for every 6 trees, get 3 points, and every 10 trees get, you got points for that. These are all, 2 points per 3 trees, or 2 points per set of pictures you have, or some unlimited amount of points based on the sets you have, and you can get more and more and more throughout the game.
Yeah, instead of a goal you have to hit to get points, here it's just points for how well you've done doing this.
Yeah, and you can have multiple of them. The other thing that it adds is new parks to visit. And the new parks all have instant abilities. So once you visit the park and get that card, you also get an instant ability on it.
So what Wes just listed off there, that is pretty much it. It's pretty much what it adds. Now, that stuff is cool. I like the camping thing is that's probably the second coolest thing. I think the goal cards are just more versatile. And the new parks that give you instant abilities when you complete are cool. But I think my thoughts on this expansion is... I think on Tuesday. I like this expansion, but I don't think it's necessary. It's not essential. It's good. If you like the base game, you're gonna like this. It's more stuff. It's fun. But it's not like... Scoundrels of Skullport, Lords of Waterdeep, that's kind of like, listen, if you have Lords of Waterdeep, you really need to also have Scoundrels of Skullport. Here, I wouldn't say that for this.
Now, I would say that if you really like parks, absolutely get this, you're gonna love it, because it doesn't, revolutionize the game. It adds a little bit more to it, a little bit more choices with camping, new parks with, some cool abilities, but they just, I don't know, it doesn't, necessarily make the game feel complete. It just makes it, this much bigger.
Yeah, it's more options, but you could in theory, again, except for the end game scoring things, you could ignore the expansion, right? And I always think anytime in a game when you can ignore all of what the expansion offers and still kind of play the base game while the expansion's mixed in, yeah, that's not my favorite type of expansion.
You could ignore Skullport and Lords of Waterdeep. You wouldn't want to, but you could.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you wouldn't want to, but also not necessarily. It's probably be harder to do that because the skull stuff is mixed into so many other cards and the buildings and stuff.
These are all mixed in too.
But the point,
but those don't add anything changing. It's just get a bonus. Nothing changes that drastically that you almost you wouldn't even notice that it was different.
Now, by that same token, maybe they didn't want to change things too drastically because the game is pretty light. They wanted to keep it that way. They didn't want to add tons of new complexity and stuff.
It really just adds one new choice, which is camp or not camp.
Pretty much. Yeah, because these are cool, but it's not a new choice.
Yeah, because I almost never go for that. I like having a different ability. I think that is a better secret objective than the base game secret objective. Mm-hmm. Collecting sets and that unlimited points, to me, I enjoy better than just hit this number to get this many points.
I'm not 100% certain. I don't think these are mutually exclusive. What I'm saying is, I bet you could swap out. Mm-hmm. No, if you take out these cards, the Voyager, that are the lightning, 1 point per lightning bolt on a park, because that's in Knights. But other than that, I bet you could just swap these out if you wanted to, and just use these instead of these.
But then again, like, I don't dislike anything this expansion adds. Like, I don't see any reason not to add in the campsites, like, unless you're teaching it to, like, a non-gamer and you're using this as a gateway game, like, then...
Or, when Emily was saying we think we could actually play it with our niece, who's 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably not then.
But, I don't know, I feel like that almost comes off as a negative. But again, personally, I would always add the expansion in if I had the ability to. I would never be like, nah, let's just leave that out. Because it does add a little bit more. It adds one more choice to make on your turn. And this is a game that I really, really enjoy. And I like everything the expansion added.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to discourage you from getting it. But, again, don't feel compelled to, I have to have both. If, like... Because I know people who will say things like, well, if I have to have all of it, I can't afford all of it right now. I'm only... I don't want to just buy the base game. I'm just not going to get any of it. I really feel like, if you had just the base game, you wouldn't feel like you're really missing out. You know what I mean?
The base game stands alone.
Yeah, it's still great.
Well.
Yeah, this definitely doesn't take a bad game to a good game.
No.
Nor does it take a great game to a great game. It's great, and this adds some extra things. I don't know. Like if this is an 8, this makes it an 8.3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. So if you want to pick up a copy of it, we'll have a purchase link in the description box down below, and we'll have a purchase link to this game as well, because you're going to need this game if you want this expansion. We'll also have a link to our review of this game, which you should watch before you buy it, and then click the like button and add a comment so that the algorithm is nice to us.
And also, Game Toppers is also down there. Subscribe is also down there. And if you do that, then you'll never be bored. Haha, sayings.